Dear student, myself J.U. Patil, I again welcome to all of you for my online lecture series during this lockdown period. Yesterday we had to start the unit number 6 and we have already covered the two topics of this unit number 6 through this online lecture. Now today again I have the third online lecture for all of you. So for today's online lecture my topic of discussion is email. So while talking about email, everybody can use this email in their day-to-day practical life. So nowadays, without any email, nobody can live. So email is very important as per practical life also, as well as email is very important for knowledge point of view also, and this is very much important for exam point of view also, because it is included in our syllabus in unit number 6. That's why we learn this email through this online lecture. So email, what is email? So email is a service which allows us to send messages in electronic mode over the internet. It offers an efficient, inexpensive and real-time mean of distributing the information among the people. That is about the email. So email is a service which allows us to send particular messages in electronic mode over the internet. It offers an efficient, inexpensive and real-time mean of distributing the information among the peoples. That is all about the email. So what is email addresses? Each user of email is assigned a unique name for his email account. That means the users having the email address, so each user of email is assigned a particular unique name for his email account. This name is known as email address, or that name which is assigned to that particular email account, that name is called as, or that unique name is called as the email address of that email account. Different users can send or receive the messages according to the email addresses. So different users or many users or the users can easily send and particular receive the messages according to their email addresses, or they can share the information, or they can send or receive the in particular information among the different peoples or among the different users through this email address. So email is generally of the form username @ domain name. For example, webmaster @ tutorialspoints.com is an email address where webmaster is username and tutorialspoints.com is a domain name. So email is generally in the form of username @ domain name. For example, gajanan.bsl @ gmail.com. So gajanan.bsl is called as a webmaster and gmail.com is called as the domain name. So email addresses having the few key points. These are nothing but the username and the domain name are separated by the symbol @. Then second is email address are not case sensitive. Spaces are not allowed in email addresses. These are the three key points which are always remembered by the users while using the email addresses or while creating the email addresses. That is nothing but username and domain name, that is webmaster and domain name, or you can say that username and domain name both are separated by the symbol @. Email addresses are not case sensitive. That means what? Whenever we can use the small caps and upper caps, so it is allowed in the email address services. That is, email addresses are not the case sensitives. Spaces are not allowed in email addresses. That means what? Suppose we have the email addresses webmaster @ tutorialspoints.com. So while creating these email addresses, the spaces between the letters is not allowed while creating the email addresses. That is, webmaster @ tutorials_point.com is not allowed in that particular email address. This is the wrong email address, whereas the webmaster @ tutorialspoints.com is the correct email address. That means spaces are not allowed in the email addresses. This is about the email address and email. So now tilt towards the email message components. So email message components, that means email message comprises of a different components, means that message components or the email is comprises using the different components: email header, greetings, text and signature. These are the components which are comprises a email. These components are described in the following figures. The following figures or the figures shown, these are the figures shown as these different components which are nothing but the email header. At left side, email header, greeting, text and signature we can show is very well. So these figures represents the different components of the email message. So now we can see these different messages or different components of the email messages one by one in detail. So now the first component is called as a email header. So email header is nothing but the first 5 lines of email message is called as email header. Means whatever the diagram shown us in previous slide, so in that slide the first 5 lines of that email is nothing but the email header. The header part comprises of the following fields. So that header parts contains the different fields, and these different fields are nothing but from, date, to and etc etc etc. So we can observe these fields are again in detail. So email header first field is nothing but the from. That field, that field is nothing but the from field indicates the sender's address, that is who sent a particular email. So that component or that part represent us to whom this field or that particular field from indicates the sender address, that means who sent a particular email. So sender's email is must be present or is always present in the particular from field. This is nothing but the from. That is the first line of the email header. Then second is the date. So the date field indicates the date when the email was sent. So that field is represent the date on which the email is sent or the email was sent. That means that represent the particular date on which the email was sent. So this is the second line of my email header. Now the third line or the third point of email header is to. The to field indicates that the recipient address, that is to whom the email is sent. This field represents what? The recipient address. That means those who is receiving the particular that email from you. So that person address is must be present in the to field, that is the to whom the email is sent. This is the third field or third line of email header. Next is subject. The subject field indicates the purpose of email. That means what do you mean by, or what is the purpose of your email? So that purpose must be indicated by the subject field. It should be precise and to the point. That means that subject line contains only the precise elements or precise material or to the point statement, so that the purpose of your email should be understood by the recipient very well, without reading the whole message in the email. So this is the subject field. That subject field indicates the purpose of email. It should be precise and to the point. Now the next field or next line of the email header is CC. So CC stands for carbon copy. That means the exact duplicate copy. It indicates or it includes those recipient address whom we want to keep informed, but not exactly the intended recipient. That means CC stands for what? Carbon copy. Suppose we want to send a particular email to one of the person, and at the same time we want to send the same email to other also. So we can do it by using this CC field. So CC stands for carbon copy. It includes those recipient address whom we want to keep informed, but not exactly the intended recipient. Intended recipient means not the original recipient. Now the next field is BCC. BCC stands for black carbon copy. Is nothing but black carbon copy. So it is used when we do not want one or more of the recipients to know that someone else copied on the message. This is also another one kind of facility we have in the email header. So that is nothing but the BCC. BCC stands for black carbon copy. So it is generally used when we do not want one or more of the recipients to know that someone else was copied of the particular message which is sent by you to particular original recipient. This is about the BCC field of email header. Now the next is greeting message, or we can say that the greeting part of your email. So greeting part of email is nothing but greeting is the opening of the actual message. It is nothing but the opening of your actual message, whatever you written in the message or text or in the message body. For example, hi sir, hi guys, etc, etc, etc. So it is the opening of the actual message. We can say that it is the particular starting statement we can write in the particular message body. For example, we have the example of this greeting message is nothing but the hi sir, hi guys, how are you, etc, etc, etc. Now the next part of the email is text. So it represents the actual content of the messages. So text is providing us to write the particular message or actual contents of the particular message. So we can write the particular actual content of the particular messages over in the field of what? Text. So text is very important for all of us. So we can write the whole message in the particular text field. So text field is important field in the email. Now the last field of the email is nothing but the signature. Signature is the last component of the email. That is nothing but this is the final part of an email message. That is, we can say that the last or final part of an email message. It includes the name of the sender's address and contact number. So signature is the final part of the email messages. That message includes the sender name, address, contact number, etc, etc, etc. For example, myself G.U. Patil, Assistant Professor, Department of ENTC Engineering, SSGB COET, Bhusawal. My contact number is 9970052499. My email address is gajanan.bsl@gmail.com. Such kind of message must be, or such kind of information must be present in the signature, which is at the last of my, final part of my email message. So this is the part of, or this is the fields, or this is the, we can say, the component of email. Now till towards the what are the advantages of that email, so that the people can generally use that particular services on through the internet. So there are some advantages are there. We can see that advantages. Email has proved to be powerful and reliable medium of communication. So obviously email is a very well proved to be powerful and reliable medium of communication. Nowadays everybody can use it in their handsets or in their smartphones, or people can use it on their desktops as well as in laptops. So that's why we can say that it is a email has well proved to be a powerful and reliable medium of communication. Here there are some benefits of the emails we have. We can shortly state it as below. That is, the first advantages of email is nothing but a reliable. So many of the email systems notify the sender if email message was undeliverable. So this is the first advantage of email. Many of the email system notify the sender if email message was undeliverable. That means many of my email message systems indicates that, or notify the particular sender that email is undeliverable. That means email is not sent properly if the email address, whatever the particular recipient address was wrong, or something is wrong while doing the email. So that email facility tells us that what, so it is not particularly that message was not sent by, or that message is not able to send by email facility, so that the sender can understand because of this notification. So this is a reliable factor of email, and this is nothing but the first advantages of email. Now the second advantage is what? Convenience. So there is no requirement of stationery and stamps. Obviously, with the help of email, we do not require any physical material of stationery or papers or etc. or stamp, we can say that. One does not have to go to post office. That means those who are using the email, there is no need to go the post office also for postal documents. But all these things are not required for sending or receiving the emails. That is what? That means whatever we are doing the traditional communication through post office or through postal documents or through the postal office facilities, so we require some stationery, that is postal card or any other cards or greeting cards etc etc. Over that we can use the stamp particularly, and then we can write the message, or then we can write the address, and we can send from where this particular card was sent by the particular person. So these are not required while doing the email. These, but mind it well, these things are not required for sending the or receiving the emails. So this is the second advantage of email, that is called as a convenience. Now the third advantage is called as a speed. So while talking about speed, email is very fast. So speed. So nowadays the people does not have the time to that particular achieving the communication, so we prefer the email. So email is very fast communication, that's why it has the fast speed. So email is very fast. However, the speed also depends upon the underlying networks. But whenever we can say that the email is very fast, but when it fast, so whenever you have the internet connection is very good, then and then it will be a very fast. So this is the third advantage of email. The next advantage is inexpensive. The cost of sending email is very low. Suppose you have already internet facility and you have already email account, there is no charge required for to send or to receive the particular email, because this is very inexpensive. So that is the fourth advantage of email account. So cost of sending email is very low. Now the next advantage of email is printable. It is easy to obtain the hard copy of email. So it should be printable. That means what? It is easy to obtain the hard copy of an email. Also, an electronic copy of email can also be saved for records. So whatever we are receiving the email and whatever we are sending the particular email, both the messages we can save for future records purpose. So it is a printable versions, or we can use often, or we can maintain the hard copy of that particular email also. So that is the advantage of email. So next advantage is called as a global. Email can be sent and received by a person sitting across the globe. That means what? It is a global, means it is not required any particular station or base station to send a particular email or to receive the particular email. It should be a global, or it is a global. So email can be sent or received by a person sitting across the globe. That means anywhere, anytime you can do it very well. So that email is a global. So that is the another advantage of email. And next advantage, generality. So this is the last advantage of email account. It is also possible to send the graphics, programs, sounds with an email. So this facility is provided by email service to us. That is, we can possible to send the graphics. That means some cards are there. Programs means we are sending the particular schedule of the programs, and the sounds also. Even though we can send a particular MP3 or MP4 files with an email account. So this is the advantage of email account. Now till towards the disadvantages. So whenever we have the advantages, at the same time we have some disadvantages also. So that disadvantages are include some points we can see one by one. So apart from several benefits of email, there also exist some disadvantages as discussed below. First disadvantages of email is forgery. Email does not provide or prevent from the forgery. That is someone impersonating the sender, since the sender is usually not authenticated in any way. That is called as the forgery. Email does not prevent from forgery, that is someone impersonating the sender, since the sender is usually not authenticated in any way. That means some authentication is not done in that particular email account. So that this is the advantages. So anybody can send email to anybody once that particular person having the email or ID of that persons. So if you have the email ID of any person, so you can send easily email. So it does not check, or it does not authenticate that particular email address. Once the email address is okay, then it will be easily send the email address. So this is this first disadvantages of email account. Now the second disadvantage is overload. Convenience of email may result in a flood of mails. Convenience of email may result in a flood of email. So generally the spam or junk mail or the updates mails, or you can say the social mails, are bulky mails, and that bulky, because of that bulky mails, so you do not observe, or you do not feel the convenience of email. That is, we can call it as a overload, and that is nothing but the second disadvantages of what email account. And the next disadvantages is misdirections. It is possible that you may send email to an unintended recipients. It is possible that you may send email to an unintended recipient. That means it is called as the misdirections. So if it is possible to send a particular message to in unintended person or recipient, means what, that person, you do not want to send a particular message to that, so that email address is called as unintended recipient addresses. So this is the another disadvantages of what, email account. Now the next disadvantages of email is junk. Junk emails are undesirable and inappropriate emails. So always the emails coming from the different companies, different organizations, different societies or different groups, so it is undesirable and inappropriate formats, or we can say that inappropriate emails. Junk emails are sometimes referred to as a spam also. So now let us update in Gmail account that junk mail, we can call it as a spam, where we can call it junk mail in the Rediff mail. That is, Rediff mail is the another domain and Gmail is the another domain name. So this is the another disadvantages of what, we have the junk or spam folders or facility in the Gmail account, but user never wants to it. That's why we can call it that it is one of the disadvantages of this email account. And the last disadvantages of this email account is what, no response. It may be frustrating when the recipient does not read the email and respond on a regular basis. So this is the another disadvantages, that is called as a no response. It may be frustrating when the recipient does not read the email and responds on a regular basis. So there is user feel the frustrating when the particular recipient does not read an email and respond on a regular basis. That means if you expected a particular reply mail from the recipient, but that recipient does not read the particular message, that is no response is there. So this is the another and the last disadvantage of this email account. Now this is the end of my today's online lecture. This is my third online lecture on unit number 6. So hope all of you understand this concept. This is very easy and very well known discussion topic for this unit number 6. This is quite important for exam point of view also and knowledge point of view also. Thank you very much.